Good evening to one and all present here with us. My name is Akshat and I'll be the moderator of today's session. Today's lecture will be on the topic navigating the intersection of artificial intelligence and intellectual property rights, challenges and opportunities. Delivered by our honored guest, Mr. Dr. Tanmay Agarwal, who is an assistant professor of law at ICFAI School of Law, Jaipur with a teaching experience of 5 years and had been awarded PhD in Artificial Intelligence and Regulatory Framework in India. Earlier, having worked in ICFAI Hyderabad, Jagran Lake City University, Bhopal, and Karnavati University, Gandhinagar, he had done BBA LLB from National Law University, Odisha, LLM from Gujarat National Law University, Gandhinagar, submitting his dissertation on character copywriting in the entertainment industry. He has various research publications to his credit and has attended over 50 national and international conferences. He has been invited as keynote speaker at over 25 national workshops and even by various law universities to adjudicate moot court, client counseling competition, bail argumentation, and others. Apart from that, he had been an youth legal advisor and Indian delegate at conferences working on United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and had been an awardee at World Youth Summit. During his legal education, he had been a vivid mooter and presented many research papers in national and international conferences. He also undertook diverse internship experience in known corporate houses, law firms, known advocates, and judicial clerkship for obtaining practical experience of practice of law. Mr. Tanmay had worked in two Government of Gujarat official legal research projects which gave him unmatched learning experience. He has also backed best research for presentation and has over 10 publications in form of research articles and book chapter contributions. He had been conducting research and training session of SCC online for law students. He was also editor at Human Rights Law Journal of National Law University, Odisha, owing to his research skills. Apart from legal academia, Mr. Tanmay had been honored with prestigious Shanghai Youth Leader Award 2016 for Sustainable Development and with India's Top 100 Youth Leader Award 2017 for his efforts like fighting for legal rights of the underprivileged. Furthermore, I would like to invite the attendees to drop with sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you so much for that introduction. I would like to thank the organizers for this session, which is on a very, very important and latest topic which requires to be discussed. I would request for the slides to be on, please. Shreya. Thank you. And it's actually amazing to be here. And I would like to first of all appreciate on the topic, which is navigating the intersection of artificial intelligence and intellectual property rights, challenges and the opportunities. So, as we know about the topic today, I'll just like to add on two things. I'm proud of the institution that I'm a part of right now, ICFAI Jaipur, for its vision to launch this as a subject in the 5 years LLB course, BBLLB and BALLB. And I also appreciate all of the institutions like NUSL, Raji, and others, which are talking about AI, which is the talk of the whole world. The world is going crazy about AI. And yes, of course, it's high time that we understand. First of all, there's limited legislation so far on AI, for which we need to understand the whole setup on how it is going to operate. And we're going to do that today to some extent. I personally feel that this particular subject should be a part of every law school curriculum because of its importance in today's world. And we'll just start with this session. And you would be seeing a lot of the AI images in this whole presentation. So it's a disclaimer. I do not own the copyright over there. Uh, so the first thing that I would bring to your notice is about a bit about artificial intelligence because it's imperative for us to understand what exactly artificial intelligence is before we move towards the IP connection with regard to AI. First of all, I would like to start with the quotation of Elon Musk, which says as that AI is something that is risky at the civilization level, not merely at the individual risk level, and that's why it is really demanding a lot of safety research. So, of course, how do we define AI? What is exactly AI? We have seen this to be growing from a simple computer to humanoid today. It is defined as the intelligence exhibited by the machines and the cognitive functions that are associated just like humans. Like you and me, we are having a communication right now, or you're listening to me, but you are also processing something in your mind. And had we been in a physical meetup, you would be able to respond as well, right? Uh, just like that, artificial intelligence has its own brain uh, through which it processes the cognitive functions and does gives a output which potentially solves the problems. There are various examples of machine learning softwares that we have been using all our life and every day since, of course, it's been launched since 1971. Um, may be Google Maps, may be the recommendations on Spotify music that we listen, may that be the machine learning software that is telling you where when your cab is going to arrive or when your Uber Eat delivery is going to get to your place. All right, so it's a subset of artificial intelligence that we call machine learning, and of course, there are many other examples. I can go on and on. Of course, job search applications on LinkedIn that we use, movie streaming. So I'm sure when you saw the last movie, based on your past history of watching a movie, the AI, it's a short AI, but it's able to suggest a similar movie that might interest you, right? Further, directly hitting to the point, since we had over 300 people directly from NUSL, Karachi, as well as other institutions which who are attending, and I had shared a Google, you know, form with all of you, and I've compiled most of the questions that have prominently come. So these are the questions that we will be tackling with regard to the intellectual property aspect of artificial intelligence and the intersection. So the first question that was with regard to the issues of IP protection for artificial intelligence generated work. Who would be the owner of AI generated work or inventions? Second, can machines be authors or inventors, and should the AI generated inventions be considered like the state of art as created by a person, ordinary? Thirdly, can AI get an IP protection? And if not, then who should be responsible for the creation or the innovation which has been generated by the AI? So before this, we need to understand in a bit more depth with regard to AI and its legal consequences, especially the legal personhood as well as the legal liability model that has been launched or that has been enacted. So as of now, we just have the EU AI Act, European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. But to your surprise, back in 2017 only, Sophia had been granted citizenship in Saudi Arab, right? So technology has always been preceding the legislative amendments. This humanoid can actually talk and is actually made in such a way that it can express human-like feelings like anger, sadness, disappointment, and also can talk back, including the eyelid movements. Such micro, elements have also been taken care of. Soon there would be such a phase in which you might not be able to distinguish which humanoid is actually not a human, right? So I have already told you with regard to the subset of AI, which are machine learning and deep learning. These are certain three laws of robotics that are very well known already. First of all, that the robot may not injure a human being through inaction, allow a human being to come to any harm. Second, a robot must obey orders given by human beings except when it is contravening the first law. Third, a robot must protect its owner existence as long as the protection does not conflict with the first and second law. So these are said to be laws, but these are principles, just like the uh, laws of gravity. So we need to understand the legislations that are coming into force. Of course, there are various other features of AI that we can talk about: chatbots, cloud computing, deep learning, quantum computing, etc., big data, problem solving, and a lot more. So we do have the impact of AI in our day-to-day lives. Some of the examples could be smart cars, Tesla autopilot project, which is already on the roads. We'll soon talk about the liability model, what happens when the particular AI driven car crashes, right? We also have IBM's AI engine Watson that is capable of detecting any kind of cancer in just 10 minutes, and much more. We have applications of AI today in almost every sector, may that be law, defense, media, customer service, healthcare, and manufacturing everywhere. I told you the distinction about the strong AI and a weak AI. Of course, the weak AI right now, which we see, is there. And on the right hand side, when you can see those fiction creatures like Iron Man, right? They are yet not the state of art, of course, but it's always seen that whatever has once been fiction has almost come to existence. May that be any other example. So that would be called to, as a strong AI once it exceeds the intelligence of humans. We have various ethical and legal compliances. Coming back to the AI aspect of artificial intelligence, we need to understand only primarily the two major aspects. The number one is artificial intelligence as a IP holder, when it is giving or getting intellectual property rights on the content that it has created. And the second one goes like the infringement parameter. What if the AI is infringing already existing state of art technology made by a human? For example, a patent made taken by a human, if it is infringing that, if it is infringing the already existing copyright, because copyright is, of course, something which has been being infringed a lot. We have DALI, we have Midjourney, and various other applications that create art and various other forms. They can also create videos and musics for people by just simple text commands, just like we have been using ChatGPT. On the similar scale, we have such kind of softwares that are able to content make that content, and all of that could be potentially a AI infringement. Why? Because all of that has been originated and fed by the data that is there, available in every website, just like any other kind of a search engine like Google, right? So we need to understand both of these things primarily, and we'll come to it as we understand the global landscape and what kinds of laws do we have all over the world with regard to IP and AI generated content. So, of course, the basic laws have been that the copyright has been given, and the legislative intent has been to give enrichment and to acknowledge human creation and human content, so as the patent is given to an inventor. And because of the current legislative framework, we do not have any provision for a non-human entity to get a copyright or a patent, though trademark is disputable. And we do have certain case laws that provide us with certain examples, and I'll be sharing them with you. So, talking about the liability model, we need to understand who is actually responsible if we have a civil or criminal liability or even an IP issue matter at hand. We have three stakeholders majorly. First one could be an AI developer. The person who is the creator of the artificial intelligence could be said to be a developer, and this definition has also been given in the EU AI Act of 2023. Secondly, we also have the AI user, of course, the person who is using the artificial intelligence software. Would he be liable, or the AI system itself would be liable? So, all of these are the stakeholders that we need to understand while fixing liability over any kind of AI. And for this, we need to understand the legal personhood. Is AI granted a legal personality or a legal personhood, just like a corporate entity, which has been granted a separate legal entity, as we have been knowing all this while. So there are various strategies for harnessing the AP and artificial intelligence and IP convergence, which we'll see throughout the presentation. Now, we know all various kinds of intellectual properties that exist. May that be industrial property, it could be trademark, patents, copyright, trade secrets, trademarks, right? So we're getting it to one by one. Now, I like to share some illustrations and some of the AI generated content, primarily AI images. They're mostly created by DALI. We have Midjourney, we have Stability AI as well. So just by a simple command, in which the user has been using a prompt engineer command, like simply give me a result of a cat with its young one showing the Titanic, sinking Titanic. Yeah. So this is one of the image generated. In fact, the other one is also depicted, which is there, in which the polar bears and other animals are getting out of the Titanic, so called. Right. We do have some other images for us to understand it in a better way. So the next image could attract a lot of traction. So you know all of these people, right? But a disclaimer: AI has been used for negative tasks as well, for politically bad stunts, deepfake videos, and legal issues. So here you see one particular image that earlier we used to crop, or maybe edit the photos, but this is AI generated content, right? So all so-called wealthy people depicted in a poor state of art, right? So you can see many people, of course, right? Maybe Bill Gates, maybe Elon Musk, and Trump, Warren Buffett, Amani, right? So disclaimer once again: AI generated fake images. Be aware of that, right? So these are, of course, the GOT Game of Thrones characters. Above shows the number of hours that they had been performed, or they had been shown on the screen on the OTT platforms, right? So that was also counted directly by a AI bot. So of course there are multiple uses of AI, but since we're talking about the IP infringement, we do have the next slide, on which various other new and noble ideas have been put into image creation by DALI, right? So these are, of course, very unique content which have been created. And now the question arises that if the DALI software has in itself, created such kind of a setup and launched such movies, or certain kind of creatures or pictures, then would it get a artificial would it get a IPR over it, right? So we do have certain case which is ongoing. The facts of the cases are set up as follows: that the artists which have been represented by certain people, uh, they assert that Stability AI, Midjourney, Devent art, and etc., they have been violating the copyright by using the artworks without the permission, right? So of course, as I said, that all of this content is created using the state of art setup that is already there on Google and on any other search engine. So it is basically modifying the content and showing it as it is. So the issues are that it is a IP infringement, and there are arguments which are involved with regard to the same, and we'll be seeing that one by one. So there are majorly two options that are there right now, currently present to us, which tell us with regard to the proper content. Either denial of the copyright could be the first option, for protecting the work that have already been given a protection by copyright, or the second one, would be to attribute authorship of such work to the creator of the program. Since artificial intelligence has not been granted a personhood, legal personhood, so the creator, the copyright could be going to the creator, right? But that is actually not working in that ways. It says that the copyright are only granted to the works created by humans, and also a federal judge in the USA, uh, 2 years back in 2023, upheld that such pieces of arts created by AI is not open for protection at all, and it would be infringement of copyright. So now I'll take you through this journey one by one. So we'll talk about maybe copyright first, copyright conundrum, authorship, and the ownership of AI generated content. AI as an author, what is the creation of copyright with regard to, can the artificial intelligence be called to be coming under the definition of author under the Copyright Act? So, of course, all of the definitions as on today would have to be changed or revised, looking at the content that we have with regard to copyright overall. And even the idea of a fair use has to be revised and re-evaluated, and ownership rights has to be checked out as well. So the work could be, of course, any of the work, combination of literary, dramatic, musical work, and is it so I asked this question to you. All of the images that you had seen earlier, and even this image on the left hand side, is a AI generated image. So if all of such a unique content is being created by a artificial intelligence software only by a simple type of your command, like maybe give me an image of the whole solar system in a different way, in combined with technology, right? So uh, can copyright be granted? What do you think about it? Right. So since the whole world is itself puzzled about it, and we do not have clear cut laws after all of this, we are still yet to understand about it. And I'll share some more illustrations and examples. We have three direct pointers and examples of copyright work which has been AI generated content. So the first one goes like Zaira of the Dawn. It is a graphic novel made by a particular person, but the content has been generated by the mid journey from a text to image generator directly. So all of those graphics were created by the AI software. Now the question arises whether that particular person would get the copyright, or AI, because of which the graphics were being made and as a part of state of art. There was also a theater art which was made by Midjourney and upscaling tool, right? So the examples go hand in hand. We also have patent case of majorly Dabas. Dabas will come to that shortly. It is one of the patent example illustration and the intersection of AI and patent, in which Dabas was uh, a particular software through which it was directly creating some innovative and inventive steps which were ideally sufficient to get a patent over it, but the courts denied that. Similar is the case with trademark. We have the AI generated brands, we have some brand protections and promotions also which are being done, and enforcements also be would be required to be changed time and again to address the AI challenges that we face. As of now, we have many websites that automatically generate some kind of logos and trademarks for you based on your description, maybe in a text or maybe by a drop of a similar image. All right. So there's a traction with regard to AI and trademark as well. So data breach and balancing is always, of course, required. And this is once again one more illustration of a particular AI self-driven car. Who would be liable where the vehicle is hacked, a software is not updated, and accident happens? So we have so many stakeholders that you might not even think of. You might just maybe think of the hacker, you might think of the car owner, or you might just think of the manufacturer. But we do also have people who are involved in the whole chain, who are the software providers, OEM, original equipment manufacturers, operators, service providers, suppliers, service technicians, and so on and so forth. So now, who all would you catch for a single accident which is happening on the road because of artificial intelligence run, you know, uh, software which is of course unmanned, which is not having a human driving the car, right? So I'm raising more and more questions in your mind, and here I have integrated some of the reliability models which have been, of course, used and being promoted to try and give a definition and something so that we can actually see that what are the reliability models. So the first one could be merely using AI as a tool, merely taking it just like a laptop or as a any other kind of a gadget, maybe a smartphone, equivalent to that. So of course the liability goes to the owner only. Second, vicarious model that also gives the liability to the owner. The owner is vicariously liable for the faults of the AI. Then we have strict liability, which actually now starts a shift, gradual shift, and says that AI should be held liable. Co-liability model, the fourth one, shares the liability between the AI as well as the creator. We have gradual model in which the model is prepared in such a way that the liability keeps on shifting as per case to case basis. And then we have hybrid model in which all of the above five have been integrated, and as and when the issue arises, they have been integrated in particular task. Then we also have XAI, which is explainable AI, that actually the normal chain of thoughts or process is there. For example, if you go on the admission site of any particular university or the course that you would want to enroll yourself for, you always get a chat box, right? You get a chat bot which is talking to you and says, how can I help you? And it's a auto generated response over there, and it is actually engaging into a discussion with you, right? But earlier it used to happen in such a way that if there was a new set of queries or thoughts, the programmer had to redesign it and feed the answers to it. But explainable AI does all of that by itself, right? So creating a lot of difference. Then we have other challenges of liability model. We have the corporate personhood, and all of these things are required to be tackled as well. Now, I would like you all to pay attention to the monkey selfie copyright case. All right. So this was a very famous dispute, and I'm sure that all of you know this because we all are IPR aspirants, and we are have been insightful about it. And even as law students and academicians, we have discussed this monkey selfie case that basically this person had been to the Indonesia wildlife jungle in 2011, and he had licensed several images uh, and sold these images. But this particular image was clicked by the monkey himself. All right. So now the question arises that if a monkey has been denied a copyright claim, then can a robot get one? So for the ones who do not know the judgment, in the case of this particular case, PETA had stood up on behalf of Naruto, which was the name of this particular monkey, and as the next best friend. So it was said that the monkey cannot be considered as the author for the purpose of the law, and therefore it cannot own any copyright. So a living creature like a monkey, of course, we understand that monkeys, dogs, they do have certain kind of understanding. Even if we do not equate it with human intelligence, still, if they have been denied the copyright claims, and for that matter, any other kind of IP claim as well, then can AI software get that kind of a claim? Is a straightforward question, right? So, which brings me to Dabis. Dabis is the second half of whole of the discussion, and we're going to talk a lot about this because it's one of the most amazing software. So now, first of all, I'll share the full pump for the ones who do not know it. Device for the autonomous bootstrapping of unified sentence. So it's basically a system that generates the inventions without human intervention, excuse me, at all, right? So Dabas has been designed to generate innovative ideas, and it is responsible for majorly two inventions. First of all, creating a new kind of a food container which is designed to be more efficient in terms of space and heat transfer. All right, so those of the ones who already know what a patent is and the three essentials for granting a patent would vouch for it, that yes, that this can be granted a patent if of course is it's a novel one and meeting all the three criteria, which it did. Second one as well was a similar example, a flashing light that could be used as a signal for emergency situation, right? So some people would say that it is already a state of art, but of course there was some inventive step involved into it. Now the interesting part comes into picture, that do we call Dabas as an inventor or an imposter? So basically, has it actually invented something or has it copied something? So Dabas has been that particular AI system, and Dr. Stephen Thalray, on behalf of this particular Dabas, had gone to various countries to get a particular patent on behalf of Dabas, and wanted to claim a patent through Dabas, which was denied in most of the jurisdictions, as I'll be sharing with you shortly. With regard to eligibility criteria and the international differences have been the major reason why it was rejected by the uh, various jurisdictions. So here is one case study with regard to why EU, a European Patent Office, had actually rejected on two grounds. First of all, that it did not indicate as a machine, did not meet the requirements, because an inventor within the meaning of the EPC has to be a natural person, right, and not a non-human being or such kind of a entity. And another thing as well, right? So this thing was denied. Interestingly, Australia had earlier accepted its claim in the year 2018, but then later on went to deny that once again, right? So as you can see over here, that an AI system or device can be an inventor for the purpose of Australian Patent Act, because it was not directly mentioned with regard to being a person, right? And they had cited some terms like controller and a dishwasher, which could be a person or a thing, right? So on similar things, just twisting or interpreting the English language in simple terms, they were agreeing to give Dabis the protection of patent as well. But afterwards, the federal court decided to overturn the same application in 2022, and again special leave was filed, which was also denied. So in such a case, Davos was rejected in so many jurisdictions: EU, UK, Australia, New Zealand, Germany, Taiwan, India, Korea, and Israel, all of that, right? So as we know that all of this is very interesting and intriguing, and we can talk about every single case study for hours and hours. Like I already said, that this should actually be one subject as a whole, and if that's not done very soon, like ICFI and other institutions have been doing, so at least we should be launching some 2 to 3 months of a certificate course that could be helping you to understand all of this in a better way. All right, so the implications of it for the future are uh, pretty wide. We have innovations, we have the IP domains, we have legal framework. We need to understand how it goes and whether the protection will be granted or not. Then, of course, like I already mentioned, that till date we just have US, which has come up with the EU AI Act with regard to clear conditions, but even there. the IP aspect is not mentioned, right? It is only differentiating the threat level of AI into the high risk, medium risk, and something which is of low risk, and has only allowed low risk to be operated everywhere, and medium risk, moderate one has to be monitored, and the high risk gadgets and everything has been banned by the EU AI Act, right? So it is just getting to start with regard to creating a legislation for AI, and we are still awaiting laws from the US, from the UK, from India, and every other country, China, Japan, Brazil, and every other country. We do have legislations. Sorry, we do have some rules and we do have some policy papers, but which have not turned out into proper laws and legislations. For example, in India, we have a responsible framework use of AI by Niti Aayog, and similarly from other countries as well. Right. So we also need to get to know more about like problems like bias and AI hallucinations. So basically, AI is giving you content which is already there in the public domain, and it is basically refining and sharing your or answering your question with the answer by the existing knowledge and domain that it has in all over, right? So data hallucinations are basically instances wherein uh, the answer which has been given to you by ChatGPT or any other AI generated content would be wrong and not exactly what you asked, because what exactly it's doing is just copy pasting and searching all of those keywords that you have asked for and giving you the response in the same way. It has managed to devise a lot of precision, but of course there's still a lot of bias and discrimination that still exists. So for that we do have ethical considerations as well that needs to be addressed. And ownership, of course, is a legal issue more than an ethical issue. We have social implications as well. So all this is very interesting, of course. And when we see such creativity involved through AI, like the images that I shown to you and some videos that I'll be sharing as well, in which you can actually in which you can actually compose a lyrics in form of a rap music, even when you do not know a single R or you do not know any rap song at all. Even the lyrics could be made by content creators like ChatGPT, and then there are some other platforms that actually create music like DeepMind. They can sing the song for you actually, right? And then there's some other AI applications that can help you to create your own video. For example, for this particular video of mine, sharing this particular session with you could be changed and modified into a deep fake through which my lip syncing could be made as if I'm singing a song, and even these actions of mine could be changed, right? So all of this is the potential of AI, and now we need to come towards a solution for safeguarding artificial intelligence. And as such, uh, talking about the intellectual property aspects, we need to have a legal reform for it. Of course, we also need to take care of the criminal liabilities, these cyber crimes that are happening. We need to take care of all of these. We need to see that the bias does not happen. We need to see that AI should be transparent, the ethical guidelines should be followed, and moreover, when we actually backtrace it out, where is the bias actually coming into the artificial intelligence? Of course, it is coming through human intelligence prima facie, right? So primarily it is coming from the human intelligence. For example, if we have a bias and we discriminate between a man and a female, male and a female, so of course that would be propagated further. Then secondly, certain other kinds of bias could be integrated into the AI system because of certain problems like hallucinations, like I told you, right? So all of these need to be still solved, right? So the definitions of copyright in the India is defining author in various ways, right? Similarly, UK defines author with regard to certain things. We have only computer generated works that are into existence. Then even the UK Act talks about something similar. We have Eastern Book Company versus DB Modak that talks about the modicum of creativity concept, which is one of the landmark cases of IPR, right? Then the whole debate of IP and AI generated content continues, and we can go about it n number of times. I'll give one example of Ryan. In his work, I think, therefore I invent. He stated with regard to the creative computers and the future of patent law on how creative computers are able to create and come up with new ideas and also give you the direct patented product which is in existence and which can also be used in the industry at large. All right. But for that, once again, on the existing laws only give it to the human elements, and otherwise, just like as I told you with regard to Dabis, it had been denied patent outrightly, right? So we have various examples of what can be patentable. For example, implantable medical device that can stimulate, record neural activity, that can be patentable. Software to control the device and the brain, right? But the third one is of course questionable with regard to the method of treating neurological problems, right? So of course these are very three steps that we all know with regard to patent that has to be checked: novelty, inventive step, non-obviousness, and industrial application, right? Various possible IP claims are there, and we also have some of the views with regard to AI that I would like to share. One of them is building advanced AIs like launching a rocket. The first challenge is to maximize the acceleration, but once it starts picking up speed, you also need to focus on the steering, right? So we need to see that where the world is moving. Even Stephen Hawking provided some kind of quotations which talks about certain contents. So these things are required to be checked on. Towards the end of my presentation, I would want, of course, everyone to, raise their questions and queries before we end the session. And I would like to share some of the summits that has been happening at a national and international level. One of them was RAISE 2020, Responsible Artificial Intelligence for Social Empowerment, held in India in 2020. And our Honorable Prime Minister was the one to steer it further and also invite other delegates internationally, in which they actually empowered 1 billion people. They had collaborated with the startup ecosystems, and till the time we do not have laws for artificial intelligence, we need to properly and responsibly use AI for the social empowerment and see that it's not misused by any set of people or any anything which is bad for the mankind, humanity as such. Of course, laws need to be made up, but before that, also ethics and privacy issues of people need to be addressed. On those notes, I conclude my presentation as we are out of time, of course, and I would want you to ask some questions and interact with me as well. So, the whole world, like I said in the inception, is already puzzled with regard to it, and the policymakers, the uh, legislators, they're all thinking on what and how should we create laws for artificial intelligence, and how should we tackle the problems, and the ongoing legal debates and legal developments are still ongoing. We have certain challenges and the opportunities to innovate and adapt legal frameworks, which would be done amazingly, I'm sure. And let's do our individual bit for the same, at least in sharing certain kinds of awareness for the people who are not aware of deepfake videos. You can educate maybe your young ones, your grandparents with regard to the content that might be misleading and might also create panic situations, might be used to extort money and so on and so forth. So we need to be safe, secure, and talking about all of the intellectual property aspects, we need to see whether artificial intelligence would be granted copyright, trademark, patent, or any other kind of IP protection in the coming future. Because as of now, it's at its minimum level, and we're going to see a lot of development coming up in the near future. So on those notes, I'm open for questions. Thank you so much. And here is a short feedback form as well for you. You can take this, and I'm sure the team would be sharing the forms as well. You can connect to me over LinkedIn as well. Here's my LinkedIn ID, and that's it from my side. Thank you so much. I'm open for queries and questions, and we can interact. I see many people are live on the YouTube stream as well. So I'm sure some questions would be there, and I'll be happy to answer them if any. Otherwise, I'm sure it would be healthy discussion and a very lengthy topic that we should actually be devoted more time to. Right? Please, Akshay.
Thank you, sir, for taking out your valuable time to share your insights on this highly relevant and evolving topic. We truly appreciate your expertise and the effort you have put into addressing the intersection of artificial intelligence and intellectual property rights. For all the attendees, we would like to hear your thoughts about today's session. We are attaching a feedback form in the description box. Please take a moment to fill it out. It will help us improve and make future session even more engaging and insightful.
Thank you so much. Can you please post the link
Okay, sir.
on the YouTube as well, so that the attendees can fill that as well, and we can get insights with regard to the same. Right? Are there any other questions from the audience?
Yes, thank you, sir. As of now, there are no such questions from the attendees of this lecture. I think we can wrap it up.
Thank you so much. Kindly share the link with the audience so that they can fill the same. And I would once again thank the Institute, Universal Rachi, and the Center for IPR. I hope that I have done justice on the topic of AI and IPR, and I hope that it adds value to the viewers, and we'll be meeting very soon in some of the other course on artificial intelligence and law, and given the feedback form that has been shared, ask some queries with regard to whether you would want any course on it and your views. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It means a lot. Gratitude to the and institution.